Hi Peaches, it's Shaaba, welcome back to my channel and thank you for clicking on another video. It's Monday, so we are back with another edition of Fishing for A-Holes, but this time it's a Christmas edition. Apart from the fact that I seem to have the exact same cold that I've had throughout all of autumn and now most of winter, I'm really getting into the Christmas spirit. I'm enjoying the warm coziness. We were on it with Gilmore Girls. I have even started Christmas shopping. This is early for me, Peaches. It is the 11th of December by the time you're watching this video and I'm manifesting that all the Christmas shopping is going to be done, and that's an achievable goal. I'm feeling good. I used to hate Christmas. It used to be a not so fantastic time for me. But ever since I put in boundaries and maintained healthy relationships with a healthy support network, it's become a good cozy time of year. There's Friendsmas, there's Christmas, there's cake, there's Yorkshire puddings, there's potatoes. What can go wrong? Actually, many things can go wrong, as I'm sure we're going to see in this week's episode of Am I the A-Hole? For those of you who may be new, it's that time of the week where we take a look at the subreddit Am I the A-Hole? Or why? Because it's a little bit of juicy drama. It's a little bit of fun. We can also hopefully help some people out whilst expanding our own mindsets along the way. What's not to love? Unfortunately, Christmas is a time also for politics and family drama, and I have my fair share of that too. I just going into this year manifesting that none of that is going to happen. Okay? I also have Mandy on, by the way. What do you think? What do you think? I did this side, my sister did this side, and I think she did a great job. I'm very proud of her. Anyway, are we ready to dive deep into the a-holes? Let's go. Wait, no, we're not ready. I'm sorry, I have one more thing to say. Just in case you didn't know, I've been releasing music. My debut single, I Don't Like Me Either, is out on all music platforms, as is my second single, which has just been released. It's called Little Doll Shoes. It sounds a little bit like this. And you can listen to that now too everywhere that you listen to music: Spotify, Amazon, YouTube, Deezer, iTunes, all of the places. And you can listen to that now too everywhere that you listen to music: Spotify, Amazon, YouTube, Deezer, iTunes, all of the places. Please, if you're curious, take a look. I greatly appreciate hearing what you have to say. Thank you very much. Okay, now we can dive deep into the arseholes. Let's go. Am I the arsehole for opting out of Christmas gifts or suggesting switching to the Secret Santa format? I can already see where this one's going, and you know what? I don't think you're the arsehole. I mean, obviously we need to read what's going on, but cost of living, the amount of world crappery that has been happening right now, everyone is finding things tight. And I get it, Christmas is supposed to be a time for opulence and indulgence, but it really makes me very sad to see people having to stretch beyond their means just to sort of like cover what a traditional ideal Christmas should look like. Christmas, as I know it, at the end of the day, is about having fun with your loved ones. It's about chilling out, spending time with each other, hopefully with some good food, and that doesn't need to be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds on fancy turkeys or potatoes done a really particular way or Christmas gifts that are very, very indulgent and plentiful. It's okay to have a different Christmas to what is traditionally seen on the telly. It's okay to have a different Christmas that might look different to other people that you love who are celebrating, and it's definitely okay to be like, hey, this year's been quite tough for me. I'm going to be taking it easy this Christmas. That's just my initial thoughts. Let's read and see what the story has to say. I have 4 siblings, 2 parents, 1 niece, 1 nephew, and 1 brother, Jack, who just got married to a woman with 3 kids. And a partridge in a pear tree, my love. Wow. Prior to this year, we've always gotten presents for each other and my niece and nephew since they've been around for the last 4 years. Christmas always gets way too expensive, especially since I have my own romantic partner to shop for as well. I feel you. And you know what? I also want to shout out here the untraditional families who get it particularly hard around Christmas time. I have a very untraditional family setup. By untraditional, I mean situations where it's not just mum, dad, girl, boy, cat, dog, picket fence, you know, like there are step parents involved, there are additional family members and half siblings and step siblings and just like a wider network involved. But Christmas does get a lot in terms of all resources, not just money, but also in terms of time. And people are like, no, you must spend it with me. You must spend it with me. They can get really political in that sense. Normally in these kinds of setups where there are so many people to consider, I've always seen families do it, like my family at least, do gifts for like the core group that you sort of like live with or see really, really, really frequently, and then everyone else you kind of just buy for the kids. Or you buy like a family gift or Secret Santa it. So yeah, this sounds clever to me. OP's got it switched on, and all of that complication was just my family alone. I had my mum, my dad, their respective families, and all of my grandparents and siblings and cousins that come off of that. Then I went and met Jamie, didn't I, who had his own family, the audacity, and even more people to buy for. But really, jokes on them, because they're quite a small family and they have a lot more to buy for and think about now, because our cupboard's at such a big family. The point is, families get very big. We need to, do what we can. We need to be sensible. In our family group chat, my brother who just got married said to us all that he wants to set the expectation that his stepkids are equal parts of the family, and he expects us to get them gifts this year as well. From a moral standpoint, fair enough, I guess. Not I guess. Fair enough. Totally fine. Absolutely. 100%. But that just makes this even more expensive, says OP. Okay. It's been slowly getting more and more expensive as my niece and nephew got older, but it's kind of fun to get them presents, and at least that was slowly building. For this, they're nice kids, but I don't feel love for them, and it's just 3 new ones all at once. Okay, this took a turn in a direction that I did not expect at all. Alright, let's read on a little bit. I suggested this year that we just switch to a Secret Santa format, pull names, and each just get a gift for someone, plus parents can get stuff for their own kids. One of my siblings chimed in saying that we should do that as well. The 3 extra gifts were just too much for him, and he agrees that it's gotten out of hand. Well, Jack then took that as an opportunity to say that we were being assholes to his kids by excluding them. I said that we would keep them in the Secret Santa group so they wouldn't be excluded. I just didn't want to spend another, say, $60 on them. It's now caused a whole thing where I'm getting called cheap by some of them and an asshole by Jack. I just feel like it's making Christmas more of a stress than a fun holiday, and at this point I'd like to just opt out. That was a lot to unpack. I feel like we were going in one direction and then OP threw in this little curveball, and I have so many questions. Here are my questions. 1, I maintain that Christmas can get way too expensive, and that's not okay. Especially this last point, I feel like so many people can relate to that. Christmas is becoming more of a stressor than a fun holiday. At that point, you're not doing Christmas right. It's supposed to be fun for everybody. So clearly something's gone wrong here. However, is it just me? When I'm reading OP's experience here, it kind of sounds like they're trying to say it's just coincidental timing that things have been creeping up year on year, and now there are these extra people that's just making it even more expensive. That in itself would have been fine, but it's the fair enough, I guess. And for this, they're nice kids, but I don't feel love for them, and it's just 3 new ones all at once. That's where the problem lies for me. I feel like at this point, you're kind of trying to use the ongoing rising expenses as an excuse to justify why you also don't want to buy for the stepkids because you are not treating them as members of the family. Of course, if they're new to the family, you're not going to feel that bond straight away, and that's okay. No one's forcing you to. You don't have to buy them super extravagant gifts or gifts that are super heartfelt if that heartfeltness isn't there. But if they are new, it takes time for that kind of connection and development to continue, but it's still a nice thing to do to buy them gifts, So, I don't know, reading that, my gut is telling me here that OP isn't being entirely honest and is really using the cost thing as more of an excuse to cover up the fact that they don't want to buy for the new kids. Only by the wording. Things like, I guess. Things like, but I don't feel love for them. It's not sitting right. What about you, Peaches? What do you think? Do you agree? I think if this discussion was already being had before Jack came in and mentioned the additional kids and, demanding that they be treated equally, that would be a different matter. Having said that, I also still see that if things are just too expensive and you cannot afford to treat all kids equally, including $60 on new kids, that is also fair enough. Like, you shouldn't feel forced to do it, and I'm sure that Jack would rather everybody be treated equally with only doing the Secret Santas for everybody than if you would say continue doing normal gifts and then treated his stepkids differently just with the Secret Santa, Oh, I'm struggling. This is not a straightforward one. This is wonky. I'm struggling because it really depends on the financial position of OP and how much of this is really on the fact that they don't feel very connected to these kids yet and don't want to spend money on just them. Do you know what I would be doing in this situation? I think it's fair to say, look, we need to do a Secret Santa thing going forward because Christmas is becoming really, really expensive. Right now, with these new kids coming in, that is not the time. It's not the right timing to then be like, look, you're coming in and now we're totally changing it up. It might not be fully linear. It might not be that because you're coming in, that is the only reason we're changing it up. But that is, of course, how the kids are going to feel if they know maybe Jack said to them, yeah, at Christmas everyone's going to give you gifts, la-di-da-di-da. Like, it's not the right time when you're introducing new members to your beautiful, wonderful, colourful, large family. So I would probably at this point be saying, cool, going forward, maybe next year we're going to do Secret Santa, but this year we're just going to impose a small budget and just ensure that everybody gets gifts under X amount, which is also very reasonable. I remember with some of my grandparents who are not traditional grandparents, we had that kind of budget. There was like a £10 budget on everybody's gifts, and I thought that was totally fine and very cool and a bit of a challenge. Actually, I also remember one year we did like a really random number. It was like it had some pennies in it and we had to make sure that we bought things up to the penny, and so everybody was buying like extra tiny little gifts that were worth like 5p from the sweet shop or something, which was really cute. Yeah, and I like the idea of that. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go with you're the asshole, but a tiny soft asshole. And I have to reiterate, I don't think you're the asshole at all for being cheap, as some of your family members seem to be suggesting. It's totally fine to say that you're struggling with money. Absolutely. It's totally fine to feel a sense of stress and frustration that new people are coming, which means a new budget. But I think what's not fine is when you look further into the context, realizing that the responses of enforcing those kind of actions would make a group of people feel really left out, who are very new and feeling very vulnerable and who really deserve to be enveloped and loved in the same way as everybody else. And I think there are other ways, like imposing a smaller budget, that could make everybody feel welcome, at least just for this year, until you're wanting to do something different. That's my thought. Do you agree, Peaches? I feel like maybe I've been a bit controversial. Let's see what the forum had to say. Not the asshole, your logic is sound. I also agree with you. It also seems like he just wanted some extra free gifts for his kids. I mean, yeah, you could say that he wants some extra free gifts for his kids, but isn't that what everybody wants? Like, they're not getting gifts otherwise because this is the first time they're joining your family. He just got married. He's got new kids. Of course you would want extra gifts for your kids if families are doing gifts. Like, I just think it's a bit weird. It's a bit of a weird comment to say. No arseholes here. Ooh, we changed to a Secret Santa format years ago. We're a family of 14. Wowee! And it was just getting bananas, especially with a lot of kids now being grown-ups, but still not having the income to buy gifts for everybody. It's a really difficult position for that to be in. One year though, I was like, I'm gonna make perfume for everyone. And it was me, like, tween Shaaba with no money in the bank but wanting to give gifts, like concocting these things and making a total mess of my parents' kitchen. It was a vibe. It caused a small riot and some people were against it, but luckily with a lot of discussion we changed to a Secret Santa format and set a budget for every person. There's still about 2 who don't like it, but overall everyone is very happy. Honestly, long term, I totally agree with this comment and I can see this format working really well. I think as well, like, feeling like you don't have to buy for everyone and being able to spend those resources on buying one thing that might be a bit more expensive, but for one person being actually what they want, than being constricted to a smaller budget where people maybe aren't getting things that they particularly want because this will be expensive. Great long-term solution. But for right now, I still think it's sensitive with the new people coming in and I wouldn't be doing this straight away. So I appreciate this. I also don't feel the need to change my verdict, but I see this perspective. Not the arsehole. It's not an obligation to give gifts during Christmas. Not everybody earns enough to gift everybody in a family. In my family, we may gift our parents, but not siblings and nieces and nephews. I have a friend whose family does a Secret Santa thing because it's not practical and affordable for everyone. Plus, they set a maximum amount to spend. Again, I see this and I do agree with what's being said. I just feel like maybe the forum isn't paying attention to the nuances of having new kids enter a family and what that can read to Jack, especially when he said, look, treat them equally. I really want you to get them gifts. And now you're like, actually, we're changing it up. Maybe that could have been a conversation that happened, that set the boundaries for that next year and that still fit within the confines of a budget, but treated everybody equally because he would have already set expectations with his new family, which is totally fine. Not the arsehole. Jack's a self-centered arsehole himself. Oh, just dumping 3 new children that the rest of the family barely have a relationship with into the mix and expecting the family to shower them with gifts. I don't appreciate this comment. I don't think this is very fair. I don't feel like this is what Jack is doing, and I feel like this is really insensitive to the fact that they're spending Christmas with you. I have to say though, I am assuming that Jack's family, his wife and his 3 new kids, are going to be spending Christmas Day there with you, right? Like, because if you're going to be spending Christmas Day together, makes total sense. Like, if there is going, it doesn't have to be Christmas Day, but if there is a day in which you're all coming together to open gifts and they are going to be there, treat them the flippin' same, you know? Yeah, this comment is correct. If there are 3 new kids that are in the family, I might barely know them, but of course I'm going to be buying them gifts just like everybody else. Of course. I might not know them to be able to buy them like specific exact gifts, but you can still put effort into buying like some sweets or some chocolates or some nice smellies or something to welcome them. Imagine being new to the family, right? Like either a new partner or a new kid that's coming from a partner, being in a blended family and sitting there and then being like shunned and being like, oh, we haven't got any gifts this year because we don't know who you are yet. That's so rude. That's not very nice welcoming for what is known to be a tradition at Christmas, which is gift giving. So totally disagree with this. Oh, okay, I feel like that got a bit spicier than I thought it would. I read the title and I was like, oh yeah, this is sure set, babe. Let me know what you think. Should we go on to another one? Am I the arsehole if I don't buy my friend and her child a Christmas gift. It's all about the gifts this episode. Okay. Some background, says OP. I've been struggling to find work after being laid off. I'm in school working on a certification to improve my options, but all of the money that I get is going to bills, rent, and groceries. This is something that's pretty well known in my friend group. Because of my financial situation, I've been pretty transparent with my friends that I'll be crocheting them gifts for the holidays. I have tons of yarn already on hand, and I don't expect anything of anyone because times are tough for most of us right now. I love this. I love this. I think that transparency is so important. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, things are really tough right now for a lot of people. And doesn't that say wonders about your friendship group or your loved one network, whether it be friends, family, chosen family, whatever, if you can be like, hey babe, I'm kind of tight at the minute, so I'm not going to be so lavish this Christmas. I'm going to crochet you some gifts. I'd be like, hell yeah, I want a little crochet something. That's so cute. Friends, family members, whoever who don't understand this, don't deserve to get presents. It's as simple as that in my book. Most of my friends are completely cool with this, particularly because crocheting has been my side hustle for years, and they know how much time and effort that I put into these projects. Of course, because yarn is actually very expensive. I appreciate OP saying that they have a backstock, but like the labor that goes into these things, you expect it to cost a lot. This is just meaningful, isn't it? Like when someone does something from the heart and it takes them so much time. But one friend, we'll call her Anne, has given some pushback regarding me making her and her child one month anything. Okay, the child is 1 month. They're not going to know the difference. You can get that child a banana and they'd be really happy. They'd just be like, ngang, ngang, ngang. I'd asked Anne if her kiddo needed any warm clothes, blankets, or plush toys, and she said to look at the registry that she had open still from his birthday. That's very weird. That is very weird to me. I'm assuming based on this that friend Anne is not happy with the fact that you're crocheting them a gift, but the fact that you had a birthday registry list and was just like, it's Christmas, here it is again. For all the things you didn't get me before, buy it for me. It's very weird. That if people are going through the effort of buying you something for Christmas, I have no opposition to a Christmas list, absolutely. In fact, I encourage Christmas lists. I'd much rather give somebody an idea of what it is that I would like, or receive an idea of what somebody would want, so I know that I'm getting them something that they would actually use, and not just wasting product or services or whatever it is. But then, like, dude, take the time to make a little list properly and not just recycle one from before. Thank you so much for wanting to buy me something. I would so love something within this realm. That would be really kind of you. Not like, here's one left over because you didn't get me enough before. Anyway, Opie said, I explained that as much as I'd love to buy off of the registry for Christmas, fiscally it's not something I can do, and I was planning to make gifts this year. She argued that if I'm not buying gifts for anyone else, I should easily be able to buy gifts for her son and her. Oh. I tried to reiterate that I can't afford to buy gifts, but she waved me off saying that I was being difficult. Okay, Anne, and if everybody said that, then Opie would be very stuck. The audacity, the absolute audacity to be like, well, you're not buying for other people, so you have space for me. Like, it's just so rude. This really frustrated me. I could see why, babe. Not because she didn't want me to make either of them gifts. I've had some parents share concerns that they have regarding a child having an allergy to something in the material that dyes, or just personal preference, all of which I understand and respect. But because she seems to feel entitled to being the only person in my life to receive a store-bought gift, I'm opting to not get her or her son anything now, out of principle. Fair. I know it sounds petty, but if I were to get enough money for a gift for anyone, it would be for my significant other or my dad, both of whom have helped me get through this rough patch. Makes total sense. With the flip is this friend. I hope they're not a friend for much longer, because that is ridiculous. I talked to a mutual friend about it, and she thinks that I'd be an asshole if I gave everyone else gifts but not Anne and her son, and that I should maybe try to get something under $10 for each of them. I really don't think I should be obligated to spend money on someone who's being this entitled and rude. Am I the arsehole? No, my love, I don't think you're the arsehole. I feel very strong in that conviction. There is a little edit though. Let's hope this isn't going to be a curveball. Anne is married to one of my relatives, not a sister-in-law, but a second cousin-in-law type thing, and is also friends with many of the people in my friend group. My use of friend was kind of the short version. I typically limit my contact with her as it is. No, even bigger, not the arsehole. Even bigger, not the arsehole. You are so not the arsehole. Anne is such an arsehole. I can't believe the audacity of someone being like, sorry, you're telling me you don't have enough money for gifts this year? Oh, well, you're not buying for other people. So, just buy for me then. Buy for me and my son. Not even just buy for my son, who is 1 month old, but buy for me and my son. Rude. Get in the bin. You are no friend to me. This is goodbye. I imagine if contact is limited already, there's a reason for that, and this would really send me over the edge. So, not the arsehole. No one is entitled to your money, time, or effort. I think it's really sweet that you're willing to put in the time to make something handmade and special for everyone. If she doesn't want to be included, don't include her. I'd really be reevaluating whether or not I'd want to continue this friendship, and I agree. Not the arsehole. She isn't your friend if she's insisting on you buying her gifts. Gifts are voluntary, not mandatory. I do agree with this, but the way that this is different then to the first situation, it's an equal treatment kind of thing, right? Like here, Anne is specifically trying to other herself, whereas in the first one, gifts are kind of mandatory for everyone if you're going to get them for some of them, because it's about not being othered. Not the arsehole. If she can't be appreciative of your crochet gift, she doesn't deserve one. I agree. What are you going to do? Sit there spending all of your time crocheting something for someone who clearly doesn't want that thing? I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't waste my time in that way. I just think they're very mean. And maybe the harsh reality of being honest and being like, look, I think you were really rude and so I'm not going to get you something this year because I don't have to spend my money on you and you're clearly not going to appreciate a crochet gift. Maybe that is a reality that they need to humble them. Because, wowee, I can't get over the audacity. This woman is not yarn worthy. I don't make gifts for people who don't appreciate them, and nor should OP. You are not yarn worthy, Anne. Ooh, there's an update. I spoke with her husband and explained the conversation with Anne, and he's appalled and a bit angry. He assured me that his kid had no allergies and has crocheted items from Anne's mother-in-law that he loves. He even asked if I could do a bear beanie for the little one to go with his bear onesie, so the kiddo will get a handmade gift for sure. Anne's husband intends to talk to her about this because they apparently had talked about a gift for me that, in his exact words, would help me out or would be very useful to me. So there's that. That's sweet, you know, if someone's offering that, but it still doesn't change the fact that if you have no money, they're demanding gifts. I can totally appreciate if after such a conversation you want to make something for the little one. I think it does put you in a kind of awkward position if you are then being told, no, actually, like, we are going to be getting you something that's going to help you out, be super useful to you. To then be like, oh, well, I'm not going to get you anything knowing this. But then gifts, again, are not a two-way street. Like, you don't get a gift just because you're going to be receiving a gift, you know? And if someone's been that rude, I still wouldn't want to spend the time making something for that person, though the kid has no wrong. You know, the kid is so tiny. It's totally fine if the dad said, you know, like, no, I'd so appreciate that. Oh, this is an interesting one, Peaches. These things seem so straightforward until the end. These little curveballs just come out. I wasn't expecting this curveball. What do you think? Knowing now that OP is going to get a gift from Anne and Anne's husband, do you think it's therefore the right thing to do to buy a gift? I'm still thinking no, because if my principle was I'm not going to be buying gifts this year, I'm going to be crocheting gifts, that's what I'm going to do. I may, however, crochet Anne and husband a little family gift, like a kettle top. You know, something for the family household that Anne can feel is partially hers, but that you can also feel isn't directly to Anne because of how rude she was. You know? What is the thing I'm saying? You know, the thing that you put on a kettle that keeps the water even warmer still? Kettle top, kettle onesie, kettle outfit. It doesn't even have to be for kettle. You can make it for a pen. You can make it for a little crocheted Christmas bauble. I'm very bad at thinking of crochet things. Help me out in comments if you would like to, Peaches. I think we need to move on before I dig myself into a rabbit hole. Alright, should we do another? Am I the arsehole for refusing to adhere to my sister-in-law's Christmas gift list? What is with all the Christmas gifts? I mean, I get it. Christmas has like family drama, but is it all really concerning gifts? I'm a 30-year-old woman, and for Christmas, my husband, also 30, and I are hosting my parents, my brother Chris, who's 34, his wife Amy, who's 33, and their two sons, who are 6 and 4. Also, my sister Lucia, who's 27, and her boyfriend Alex, who's 30. Okay, so many adults and 2 kids. I see. The background to all of this is that Amy complains about every gift that she's given by any of us. So just to remind you, Amy is Chris's wife and Chris is OP's brother, so sister-in-law in the very traditional sense. Every Christmas, she makes faces and snide remarks about the things that she's gifted. For example, last year, me and my husband, gifted Amy and Chris a joint present of an expensive coffee maker, which is the same one that we have at home that Chris loved when they visited. That's adorable and very sweet and very thoughtful and very functional and practical. I love it when a Christmas gift is like fun, but also practical. Like, I can use it. That makes me so happy. So, like, this to me is like big tick. Amy's only remark, not even a thank you, was, oh, well, this isn't ready for me, is it? And then to make a great show of being annoyed that she didn't get a separate gift. A few days ago, Amy included the whole family on a group email with a Christmas list for her and the kids. So the kids are their 2 sons who are 6 and 4. Okay. She said that she would only accept gifts from this list. The audacity. On the list was expensive perfumes, links to expensive clothing items, and designer handbags. I was livid. My parents were offended as well, but they didn't want to say anything to Amy, but I wasn't going to hold back in the face of what I felt was grossly entitled behaviour. Good on you, OP. Brownie badge to you, OP. I know the brownie badge is not intended for the OP's themselves. It's my video, I can make these rules. One of the biggest things that grates on me so much is when family, like loved ones in a network, can see that something is going wrong, but in fear of hurting someone's feelings, they then don't tell the truth. That to me is not being a supportive loved one. What you're doing there is not being kind to the person who has the problem at hand, like OP here, and to yourselves, right? Because you're all feeling that this is rude, you're all offended by it, but also you're not being kind to the one person that you perceive that you're protecting. The reason being is because that person deserves to grow. None of us are perfect. I for sure am not perfect, and the only way that I've been able to develop myself is by being called out, not by strangers on the internet for no reason. Thank you very much. Before you go in the comments and start making horrible remarks about things that, you know, like cross certain boundaries. I kid. In all seriousness, it's like by loved ones being like, hey, you know, like this isn't the one. We shouldn't be acting this way. Hey, just letting you know that this comes off in this kind of way. It's an act of love to allow somebody to grow. And so this, to me, the behavior of the parents here to hide that doesn't only cause further rifts in families and personal resentment that will obviously just build up in everybody, it also limits the person that you're supposedly trying to protect. Bad parenting all round, not a fan, do better. That's my thoughts. I feel like I've been very spicy today. I replied to Amy's email saying that I wouldn't be purchasing anything on that list and that if she wanted to shop for a Louis Vuitton wallet, I was happy to put her in touch with my saleswoman. I also said that if she didn't like what she received for Christmas, she was welcome to just leave it at my house. And I think that's very fair. Chris blew up at me, saying that Amy was just trying to make everything easier for everyone by giving suggestions. I disagreed and I told him that I think Amy was just trying to find a sneaky way to get a few things that she normally couldn't afford for free, which in my opinion is not the spirit of Christmas, and I think she's being extremely childish. Did Chris blow up on you publicly? Was this all done on like some massive public chain? I imagine Chris then sort of like contacted you separately. He was just like, this isn't okay, and you've gone back and said, well actually I don't think it was okay. OP, I don't think you've done anything wrong. Actually, I just want to clarify, if what you've done is clicked reply all and said to everyone, actually Amy, I think you're being an entitled bitch, I'm not getting you these gifts, so deal with it, then that would be a problem. But if you'd responded just to Amy, I don't think there's an issue with you voicing your opinions. You've used the same medium that she's used. You were kind, albeit a bit passive-aggressive, but who wouldn't be in this situation? I don't think that warrants you being called an arsehole. Chris has then had a massive go at you, and you've explained that actually no, I don't think it's very fair. Cool, alright. Though, there are three sides to every story. Maybe OP here has been very kind about the way that they portrayed themselves and they're actually more angry or aggressive, but you know, we have to read it on the value of what we have. My parents think that I shouldn't have said anything, but Lucia says I absolutely should have because she wasn't going to be spending hundreds on Amy's Christmas list either. Was I the arsehole for not going along with it? No, I don't think you're the arsehole. And I actually think that everybody else is the arsehole, specifically Amy for having the audacity to send it out in the first place, specifically the parents for seeing that something is wrong and still maintaining that you shouldn't have said anything for this sense of fake family portraitness. And finally, Chris for blowing up at you and not realising that actually what his wife is doing is actually not very nice. You know, and a bit entitled and ostentatious. There's a couple of edits. We should probably look at those too. Let's see if there's another curveball that changes our opinion entirely. For everyone asking, yes, Amy drinks coffee and uses the coffee machine. Good to clarify. I kind of assumed as much, but thank you. And 2, no, she and Chris don't gift anyone else anything of the value of the items on her list. Chris does her Christmas shopping and our family aren't big on adult gifting. We buy big things for the kids, but we tend to get each other things like Christmas hampers for couples, jumpers. I bought my mum a teapot one year, things like that. Certainly nothing in the price range that Amy put on her list. I don't have time for this. I would not have time for this. I would not allow this. Amy is an entitled butthole. What the hell? No, not okay. Not the arsehole. Tell Chris and Amy that since you can't meet their gift expectations, you won't be exchanging gifts with them going forward. Tell them to please not give you any gifts because you won't be giving them any. You'll just gift to the kids, but you'll be choosing gifts that are within your budget. I maybe would not go as far as doing this initially, but I also appreciate this perspective. I would just end up buying the normal gifts that I would as you know, as you said, you know, like adults get like a little hamper between the two of them, a coffee machine for them to use. That's the kind of vibe that I would go down, but fair enough. Fair enough. Not the arsehole. Would I be right in thinking that you guys are quite well off compared to her and that she therefore has decided that you should be spending more? And OP said, my family is comfortable, yes, but we're not massive spenders at Christmas for the adults anyway. The kids get a lot of stuff, but the adults we don't really make a big deal out of. I was kind of getting the idea that perhaps this family were not needing to be as cost conscious as previous families have been, that we've been reading about today. But still, just because you have money doesn't mean that other people are entitled to request that from you. I just think that's really weird. Just don't be I'm so shocked. I'm so shocked by this entire episode. Oh my lord. Should we do one more? I don't know if we can deal. Let's try. Would I be the asshole for not hosting Christmas this year? I love a good would I be the asshole. It's a good vibe to know that people are checking in beforehand. Whew. My parent-in-laws are hoarders. My wife's siblings are either homeless or live in a tiny 2-bedroom apartment. We have a house that can comfortably accommodate them and the various kids, so we've been assumed to be the Christmas venue for the last 5 years. We're doing okay, but we're not super well off, and buying food for everyone plus presents is draining on our finances each year worse than the last. Can we see a trend happening here? Christmas and the commercialization of Christmas is causing more stress than it's worth and is breaking families apart. Christmas is not about the gifts. Christmas is not about the money. I feel like I'm the little boy in the Christmas Carol, the little tiny frog. It's like, Merry Christmas, one and all. Think about the morals. Anyway, the in-laws maybe bring one dish each of salad or fruit, which isn't enough to feed everyone, and we have to supply any meat dishes and stuff for the kids, as well as drinks, or they complain that there's not enough food. Mind you, they complain about the food that we do serve anyway, because their children are so picky and will only eat chicken nuggets and fries. Well, to be fair, chicken nuggets and fries are quite cheap, so maybe that's not the terrible thing, but I hear you. Then they would just be complaining to be like, I can't believe you're serving chicken nuggets at Christmas time. Anyway, they always leave a mess and jet afterwards without helping to clean up. My wife gets so stressed. We haven't enjoyed a Christmas in years, so my wife and I have decided we're having a small Christmas this year, just us and our 2 boys. There is another paragraph to this, which we will take a look at. But already, I don't think you're the asshole. Maybe there's a curveball. That seems to be the thing in this episode. But so far, I think this is very kind. I think it's rude if someone is hosting you for Christmas for you to be like, oh, you're not feeding us enough when you're not bringing anything substantial yourself. What I think is most rude here is the fact that they just leave. They complain and then they leave without helping out at all. That isn't how Christmas goes down. In all of the Christmases that I've been to, and I've been to so many different structures, I've been to an in-law's Christmas, I've been to a mum's Christmas, a dad's Christmas, an aunt's Christmas, a friend's Christmas. In every single situation, you always help out. You help out when you're cooking, you help out when you're cleaning up, you do the fun little games, the setups together, the getting rid of things together. It's just, you do everything together because that's what it's about. It's about the time, it's about the bonding. It's not about the thing that's being provided. It's about spending that time together. How do people not understand this? I'm baffled. I'm bamboozled. I'm discombobulated. OP says, the boys are so excited and looking forward to Christmas for the first time in years. Oh. And when I asked why, my oldest said, Mum's family are mean. The nibblings are loud and ill-behaved, and my boys have ADHD and they get very overstimulated from loud noises. Do your little family Christmas, OP. Oh my lord. My wife is so relieved. I've said no to a big Christmas gathering, but we haven't told the in-laws yet because I know the reaction and the guilt trip that I would get. One year we tried to say that we didn't want to host because of all of the above, and we got a, well, I guess no one is having Christmas this year from my wife's siblings. So would I be the asshole? I was going to do it. I was going to be like, no, you're not the arsehole, OP. You're so not the arsehole. I still maybe think that's the case, but just bear with me 1 second. My parent-in-laws are hoarders. My wife's siblings are either homeless or living in a tiny 2-bed apartment. Okay, it's the homeless siblings that are making me feel some kind of way. Whilst I absolutely feel like you and your family are entitled to a Christmas that you enjoy and that you want to have, like, oh my lord, of course, I'm also kind of struggling with the idea that you as a gorgeous little family network will be having a nice Christmas and that there will be people who literally don't have a home, therefore not celebrating with family because the other people aren't doing something to help. If that is the case, why should that be your onus? Why is it your responsibility to fix it? I see that you've said that your parent-in-laws are hoarders. I always want to say parent-in-laws, but it's actually parents-in-law, which is so odd to me. Like, it's sisters-in-law, not sister-in-laws. It doesn't feel right, but it is right. That's not the point I'm trying to make. If the parents-in-law are hoarders, then they can host Christmas. They just need to make space in their available space to do that for the rest of the family. You've done it for 5 years. It's a huge onus on you already. You're not enjoying it. Yeah, you're not the arsehole. You are not the arsehole. I do think it's a bit of an added complication that there are people who wouldn't be able to host at all, like being in a tiny 2-bed apartment or literally not having a home. And that doesn't sit well with me. But then I do think that the onus should go to the parents-in-law, not just to one set of the siblings who have done it so many times and who do not feel respected. I do think that there's a third option though, maybe. Just floating that out there into the Christmas ether, which is that maybe extra boundaries could be drawn, like a real honest conversation could be had of, look, my kids aren't happy. Everything is too loud. Everything is too messy. My wife feels overworked. I feel overworked. We all feel overused in terms of resources. You can use my space, but we're only going to be doing a Christmas morning and lunch, and we are going to have the majority of the day, like from the afternoon to the evening, just ourselves. You guys can pop off after a brunch or an early lunch. Maybe that's an option. Maybe it's an option to say, we can do it, but also you are doing all of the tidying up, or we can do it, but I'm actually going to let you know now that this is what the cost would be, and we're gonna have to split it because it's too intense, or, you know, bits of all of these things. I feel like there's a hybrid Christmas that might be possible, but I don't feel like you have to do that. I still don't think that you'd be an asshole if you were just like fully to remove yourself this year. That's my thinking. Do you agree? Let's, for the last time today, take a look at the forum. I feel like I've really needed the forum to sort of like reassure and understand my thoughts today. Well, I guess no one's having Christmas this year. That's not true. You are for the first time in 5 years. Very true. Absolutely not the arsehole. Your in-laws sound like a nightmare. They made themselves unwelcome by abusing your hospitality in the past. Tough. I see it. It's harsh, but I see it. I agree. They are free to have their own Christmas. It's not your responsibility to host them. Not the arsehole. Your house, your family, your life, your decision. And it's the right decision. Well, I think the forum definitely seems to be in a consensus here. And you know what? I agree. I do think it's tough. Me being the people pleaser that I am would probably end up doing this hybrid thing first. I think the idea of a Christmas brunch, we're seeing them for a little bit, would be totally fine. Or, you know, like we'll do it at your house and we'll bring some of the meals and we're going to see you at lunchtime and then we're going to skedaddle, scoot and do our own little thing. But you're perfectly entitled to just fully be like, nope, just us this year. Either way, I hope you have a good Christmas. Whoa! What do you think, Peaches? Do you agree with my verdicts? Let me know downstairs in the comments section. Just be kind to one another and not just for Christmas all the time. If you enjoyed this video, do give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you would like to see more. I'm going to see you a couple more times before Christmas. But in the meantime, if you'd like to check out my music, you totally can. It's Shaaba everywhere. Thanks again for watching. Be kind and have a great day. Bye.